North American cities are showing very rapidly a level of non-function. Urban and suburban sprawl are obviously intertwined. The sets of issues that are involved include whether or not they're transit-oriented, whether or not they're pedestrian-oriented, the people issues as opposed to building and highway issues. There's major infrastructure problems. The more sprawl that we have, the more we have problems of maintaining that sprawl, maintaining the streets, maintaining the water and sewer systems, maintaining all of the infrastructure that makes that all possible.
My name is Susan Tower, and I live in Fairway, Kansas. It's a suburb of Kansas City, and this community here is about about 40 or 50 years old, and it's a very nice place to live. I like it very much. The houses being older, the trees are larger. I don't know, it's just a very friendly place, and I'm glad to be here. I'm a single mother, and I'm raising my daughter.
Well, I think one of the good aspects of living in the suburbs is it's not quite as hustle-bustle as living in a downtown area. You know, it's a little quieter at night, it's quieter in the daytime. There's more space between houses, so it's less compact. And you take that, plus you're really close to usually a lot of land and parks that make it really nice for walking or biking.
I know for my parents who were World War II, I mean they're Depression kids, and World War II was their young youth, that they were always about raising their standard of living because they grew up so poor, and so they were all proud about giving me, because I grew up in a suburb and I live in a suburb, lived in suburbs their whole life, and they were all about giving me like this higher standard of living than they had, which I'm sure that's true, but I remember just being, well, it's like it's spiritually vacant, that it's so materialistic that that idea that it's better than, you know, just that the physical aspects is somehow like glorious. I think that a lot of people are really lost in the suburbs because there is no connection to nature, like well, I think it used to be. Used to have neighborhoods right beside wild areas, but now those wild areas have become neighborhoods. And so there is not a connection to nature to bring balance to the psyche of living here.
Suburbs feel artificial, they feel like there's an illusion of intimacy and an illusion of, particularly with some of the newer homes they're putting in now that want to look like old-fashioned homes, but there isn't any history, and they name the suburbs after, you know, painted hills, after the beautiful hills that used to be there that are now obscured by houses. And as somebody who loves green space, I appreciate the desire for lawns and the desire for garden space, but the truth is in most suburbs you really don't get any unique green space. You get very similar lawns. Your lawn looks like your neighbor's lawn, looks like your other neighbor's lawn, and the landscaping is usually not that interesting. And I hear more and more about suburbs that actually restrict planting gardens, putting particular kind of plantings out in front of your house. So.
Our community here, it really does feel safe. Maybe that's naive, I don't know, but we feel comfortable letting our kids ride their bikes or walk to a neighbor's house. Our kids have lots of friends on the street. As Larry mentioned, we enjoy the diversity in our neighborhood. We really, I think we've intentionally tried to find a relationship with our neighbors because we know that the better we know them, the safer we are.
I believe that people live by myths, and there's a myth that if you move to the country and have an estate and have a big house and a big lawn, that somehow you're tapping into a an aristocracy. You become one of the elite. And I think this is part of a status anxiety that our society has fostered and pushed on people, where their home-like surroundings and their community aren't good enough. And so they're trying to emulate the kings and queens and princes of Europe and have these wide lawns and vistas. And you'll see in the suburbs all the housing developments are called estates or chateaus. People have lost connection to the commons. In America, we had common lands and common meeting places and villages in small cities in the past. And as the migration to the suburbs has taken place, especially after World War II in America, the economic powers have maintained a growing dominance of these mass market big box stores like Target and Walmart, and these entities have taken the common structure of human interaction away and made it into a big business.
Everything America does now, like I said, everything America does is because of a marketing ploy, a marketing technique. They know psychology. A guy named Edward Bernays, the father of PR, started in early 1900s. One of his first campaigns was to get women to smoke. How? He paired the passage of the 19th Amendment, where women could vote, with smoking and the freedom, the choice. Aha, light a torch for Lady Liberty. Well, you know what? That's what marketing does. You know, American dream is freedom, and so they've paired freedom with suburbia. You want to be free, you want to feel that open air, move to suburbia, move out 40 miles and you know, get your own little piece of the country. And we believed it, and we never believed that we would ever run out of oil. We never believed we would ever run out of water. Talk to the Atlantans right now that are running out of water. Talk to Phoenix, Arizona, that they're running out of water. Running out, not just you know, oh gee, we're going to have to cut back. Running out of water. We don't see ourselves as part of the global thing. The resources that we take out of the earth here in America are then being denied somebody, you know, who lives on $1 a day and, you know, a half a cup of water and a cup of rice, you know, someplace in Africa or Asia.
One of the things I like about living in town and farming in town is that you are aware of your neighbors. You are usually close enough so you can, you know, sometimes hear them at night. You can hear them driving down the street. You can see them walking into their houses. And I've lived in apartments where you can hear your neighbors fighting. You can hear, you know, you can hear sirens going down the street. And at one level, that's stressful and uncomfortable. But at another level, what I like about it is it establishes that your problems are part of many human problems. Your life is one of many human lives. And so I think that cities promote a certain kind of humility and a certain kind of relatedness. I suspect that suburbs, by creating so much space in between people, sort of you can start easily thinking about, you know, that you are in fact the center of the suburb, the center of the world, and that's not, you know, that's a real human problem. Humans too much think of ourselves as being above everything and not part of the natural fabric of things. I've lived also in the country, and there it's not so much, you know your neighbors, you're aware of your neighbors, you rely on them, so there are very real interdependent relationships that are different. And it's possible in the suburbs there's something more like that, but I think that partly they were created so that you didn't need that, so you didn't need that kind of interdependency.